Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode where we analyse some 2k row times. Today we're going to analyse Olena Buryak's 2k time. Sorry if I butchered your name there, Olena. But before we get into the analysis of her 2k row time at the World Indoor Rowing Championships in Paris, I would like you to do two things, and it's really been helping the channel over the start of 2020, and I would love to push the Yam Squad even further going forward into spring of 2020. The first thing, if you haven't subscribed already, I would really appreciate it if you did. And the second thing, if you are subscribed, hit that like button. Both of those things combined actually really help each video and the channel itself, and I really want to see how far we can push the Yam Squad, and I need your help. So right into the analysis now. I haven't actually seen the data here, so we're gonna go through it together. All I know, looking at my screen just now, it isn't the graph of each stroke. All I can see now is just the 500 meter splits, which is a 137, or not even a 500 meter splits, the times through each 500 meters, a 137, a 315 and a half, a 454, and a 631.7 for the overall 2k time. So Olena is actually the world record open women's record holder for the 2k at the 622, which is absolutely insane. I challenge any of you to do a 622 on a 2k and see if you can compete with Olena. And so what we're going to do is we're going to hop straight into it together and see if I can record the reactions and see if we can just discuss how she did her 2k versus how I did mine, and even how Alexander from Russia, we recorded sort of our reactions through his 2k analysis last week on his very, very fast time, sub 550. So let's click a few buttons and see if we can record the screen and try and record the reaction to said scores and race profile. And we have made it into the analysis time. Here is around me her profile, Olena's profile for her 2k, and as you can see, it is very, very consistent. Olena has had a lot of experience doing indoor championships. She has previously won more than one indoor world championships or indoor championship, and so it really looks, just by having a quick look, all I can see is the blue, that's the pace, the speed, and the red is the stroke rate, so how many strokes you're taking per minute. So all I can see here is a very consistent race, which is, that can come down to experience. Mine, I thought I was experienced as an athlete, but then I went and did World Indoors, and I let the event get the better of me, but I had a load of fun doing it. But here, as you can see, without even looking at any numbers, it's very close to a flat line, and realistically that's what you want to get to. So we're looking at some world class, obviously world class, just top level pacing going on here, and something I hope all of the Yam Squad are striving for. So 0 meters, 0 stroke rate. And the first stroke, what does the split she sees? Obviously we spoke about last time, the last two videos. There's the starting time starts when the chain is pulled out to a certain distance. And then, so the first split that she would have seen was a 153, which isn't actually far off of her pace through the first 500. So only 15 so splits, 16 splits. And then we jump up to 132 at 60, 126 at 50, which is insane, 126 at 41, and absolutely insane, 28 at 36, insane. These numbers are absolutely ridiculous, absolutely. So, like I said about doing a 622 2k, try and do a 130, try and do a 128, try and do a 126 that Olena is doing here, and see how you fare versus her. And she's doing this at the start of her 2K. So let's try and figure out how many hard strokes she has done on the start of her 2K, because in the last video comparing Alexander's speeds and stroke rates, we saw that he was doing almost exactly 40 seconds and then shifting down. But it looks like a little bit less time here. The splits are coming down, and I would say that's maybe 10 strokes or so. So we're sitting at 100 meters and we're already on pace. Maybe even less than that. We'll give it just above 100 meters. So you would say that's maybe 10 to 15 strokes of full blaze and then on to pace. And then we bring it all the way down from a stroke rate of 50, high 40s, all the way down to low 30s. And this is where, I mean, it's not necessarily too interesting, but it is absolutely phenomenal what she has done here. So, obviously, I think she has just, we've spoken about the experience she has to be so confident in her ability to know what she's able to do. That's a big thing. So to know the pain that you're going through, to know what happens when your legs are burning, when your heart is pounding as hard as it can, when your head is throbbing, knowing the levels of all of that can really help you during a 2K. And then when you combine that with an event like an indoor championships, you can kind of see, okay, well, the air might be not as high quality. It might be a bit hotter than usual. It might be you're a bit more worked up than usual. So you can, if you're experienced enough, you can sort of say, okay, well, here's my normal 2K. This is how it feels. And if I use the indoors for an example, the air was a bit drier just with so many people in such a big sort of hall or stadium. It was hotter, again, with just so many people in there. So you can kind of say, this is how much time I can not give up, but I can adjust for that difficulty that might be caused by the change of environment. And so for me, I went into it not necessarily blind, but it was more of a case of I'm improving at a really high rate, so I'm not really sure where I'm capable, what score I'm aiming for. I knew it was going to be pretty quick, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be sub 50 or above 50 or on 50. And then for Olena, it looks like it was a case of, okay, well, I'm pretty confident of what I'm able to do. It was 15 seconds off of her PB, the world record at 2K for an open woman. And so you kind of think, could she have went faster in this 2K? So I would love to speak to her and see, was this a case of, okay, well, I'm going to go out and flat pace at 136 or so and see how it kind of feels from there. But as you see from here, from just over 100 meters, from 20 seconds, it's pretty spot on. The rate barely shifts. So 30, 31, 32, all the way through, and it doesn't even get to, so 33 at 250 left, back down to 32, and then 33s through to the end. But as you can see, look at the split. A little bit slower through here, so 38s, 39s, 37s, 38s, 39s, even through. So really it's a case of sitting on 38s, 39s. And then a little tickling the 37s through the end there, and then finishing off just really steady. Not necessarily you have to sprint on a 2K, but in the championships you can see on your screen you have your name. Above that you have someone in front of you, or in this case no one in front of you, and below that you have who's behind you. So you can see how many meters you are ahead of the person behind you. And so if you're ahead by enough and the person isn't closing in on you, there is no need for a sprint here. And I can only assume that's what Olena was probably thinking. She might have been, I'm not 100% sure how far ahead she was. Let me know in the comments below how far ahead she was of the next competitor. But she'll be far enough ahead where, why should I sprint here? So she might have seen that she was quite a few meters ahead and thought, I can finish off this 2K without completely ending myself and just really digging myself into a hole. And it's just look at the stroke rate. Just look. So for me, I ended up averaging 41 and a bit, which the number itself is too high. But the way I also did that was I sort of started high, came down a little bit, sort of flatlined, and then went way up again, up above 50. But as you can see with Olena, the number itself here doesn't necessarily matter. So apart from the start in her 2K, apart from the start where we do the hard first 10 strokes or so, it is probably average. Well, it's rate 32, rate 31, 32, there's a 30 in there, and then finishing at 33. A variance of 3 strokes. Three strokes. I think I might have hit 35 and hit 55. I had a variance of 20 strokes. When you say it out loud, it sounds like I just was not in control, which isn't too far from the truth, but it was, like I said, it was having a lot of fun for me and seeing kind of, it was a different strategy, one that I hadn't really practiced as much, and just seeing what would happen. But in this case, with Olena's scores, a variance of 3, if we exclude the start, a variance of 3 strokes per minute from 25 seconds in to 6 minutes 31.7 seconds. That in itself is absolutely insane. And even the split as well. Yes, it's variable. It looks more varied, but it isn't really. It's between, when we say that same 25 seconds, 137, 138, 139s again. I don't even see any slower than that. Or faster. 37, 38 or 39. And then our rate is 31, 32, 33. Is there a 30 in there? I saw a 30. So 30, 31, 32, 33 for rate. 36, 35, 37, 38. Is there any 35s? No. It's just so consistent. Just even with, like, I'm trying to get across here, even with the pace, it might look more varied, but it isn't. It's not varied at all. One split looks like quite a big jump, but actually it's not so much of a big jump as it might seem. Absolutely insane. Absolutely. So she did see a 140 there, so she had a bit of a blip there. But only kidding. That's barely anything. It's just so impressive to see what these people can do at this level, and she's clearly competing at a very, very high level with herself or whoever she's competing with, and it's absolutely amazing to be at the same competition as her. Was amazing. Big Phil and her were having a chat, which was awesome to see. 2 titans just having a chat. It was pretty cool. But congratulations to you, Olena, for having a great win to the race, but also just amazing to see how consistent you were. And hopefully, Yam Squad, you can learn more from this consistency rather than from my lack of consistency, because this is how you want to eventually get to a 2K. You want to know what you can do pretty close to within a few seconds, probably even less than that, within a couple of seconds. You want to say, I've got a 2K, a 5K, a 10K, an hour, whatever it is. You want to say, I can do this, and then you go out and do that. For me, that is a goal of mine, and that's what I'm working towards. But as we all know, in life, everyone goes through their paths differently, and everyone I'm learning a lot every single day, and it's really cool to be part of the Yam Squad and be trying to give you some of what I'm learning, and also sharing the enthusiasm that the Yam Squad I'm giving out and getting back as well. The amount of messages I'm getting for just saying thank you or suggestions are just outrageous and absolutely amazing, really helping as well. But back to this, it's like I said, the indoor world champs were outrageous, really, really good fun, and it was amazing to be part of it. And just seeing this is what I'm aiming for. So when I go sub 45 or whatever, sub my PB, sub 50, whatever it is, that's roughly what I want my 2K curve to look like. I want it to have a few hard strokes at the start and then try and hold on for as long as I can, but I would like a little bit more of a sprint. Even if it's 5 or so strokes, I would just like a little bit, just a small bit. But that will be it for today's episode, Yam Squad. Hopefully enjoyed another ERG analysis from World Indoors in Paris. Thank you to the Time team for all the effort and all the just getting the stats together for this. It's been absolutely amazing to have a look at all of these. And also thank you to the suggestions. I wouldn't have done this without suggestions from the Yam Squad, whether it's in the comments or in Instagram DMs or wherever it is to reach me. Really good suggestions here, and hopefully I'll be able to analyze. There's a lightweight that did a pretty fast time for a lightweight that might have a little look at. But that's for future Yam Squad to look forward to, so make sure you're subscribed for that. And that will be it for today's episode. Hopefully you have enjoyed it, and that will be it for the end of the week as well. So I will see you at the beginning of next week for a whole new week where we get to improve ourselves even more. And as always, like I mentioned at the start of the video, subscribing and hitting that like button actually, like I say at the end of every video, but it actually does help. And the more people that you get to do it, the more people that get to see it, and the snowball keeps rolling and just pushing that. Yeah, I really need your help to push the Yam Squad as far as we can get it. So that will be it. And have a great weekend, Yam Squad.